in painting. Been trying to do abstracts. I've never really done abstracts. Normally do just realistic. We will just wait for everyone to join. You've got your pencils and your paper. Quite scruffy drawing today. What time is it? Oh, it's not time yet. Give it a bit more time. Yeah, abstracts is hard. Has anyone done any abstract painting? I thought after I've been teaching about 18 years, I should have a go, take myself out my comfort zone, but it's tricky not to make it look like something. I still think they look a bit like a landscape. I think I prefer semi-abstract. Okay, one more minute. Again, remember, you can always add in chat if there's anything you'd like to draw in particular. I did listen to you from last week or 2 weeks ago that you will see. I've moved my desk around again, trying to get it in a nice space. Okay, what time are we? 30. How's the puppy? She's getting big. She's fast asleep beside me, otherwise I'd lift her up and show you. But she's being a good girl. She's a bit of a character. She loves water. So we bought her a paddling pool that she's in the whole time, but she keeps digging in the water bowls inside and soaking everywhere. So I've got towels everywhere, but she's very sweet. Right, we will go live now. Any questions? Let me know. Right, hi everybody. Let's get started on our picture. Which one that's straight? Right, we are going to start with a horizon line. It's going to come over here. So don't press too hard at the moment. And we're going to come in with a line this way to here. Like that. And then we are going to come a zigzag line there. And then another line here. This. And then this one comes down. Kind of like that. Now, we're going to be a little bit scruffy today. So we're likely going to put some marks in back here. Really lightly. I'll do it a bit darker, but you do them nice and lightly. You come over, up. across, kind of up, across, and then that kind of shape there. It's nice and straight. Like that. Now we are going to use our pencil on the side and we are going to shade it. Just very quickly. We put more detail in, but this is kind of our mid-tone. This is a middle color. And you just want to get something in there, like that. Now, what should we do next? We're then going to come up here. And we're going to come kind of down to there. And kind of a little one down to there. Now, we are going to try and shade this. So I'm right on the side of my pencil. So that if we can, we're going to make it, shade it in, slightly lighter. So I'm hardly pressing. So that this is not as dark as this. Using the pencil. Like this. Okay. And then we're going to go a little bit darker in some of this. Again, not our darkest dark. You'll see why. And we're thinking kind of pointy shape. So I've still got that there, but it's slightly darker underneath. These kind of vertical lines here. And then some darker shading here. So I've moved my hand around so I'm parallel. We're making this a bit darker. We're being quite scruffy today. And I will explain all of this in a minute, what we're doing. Like that, maybe a bit more in there. Building up, so you can build up your tones. We're putting more pencil on top. And then over here, we're going to put some darker bits. Kind of a shape here. A bit darker here. A little bit darker. Like scruffy little kind of lines. Maybe some over here. Some smaller ones, so we get this kind of diagonal down. This is us thinking about composition coming into our focal point, which is going to be there. Okay. Now, when we get to here, which is our focal point, oops, sorry, page slipped. We're now going to go darker. So I hope I've given you enough time on that. So they're not exact shapes, they're kind of more scribbles, but what will make it look effective is actually the tone. So this is our lightest light, this is kind of our light to medium, then we're slightly darker, then we're darker, and then now we're going to go much darker on here. And the reason being, I'll explain while we're drawing, is this is something called aerial perspective. So it's not this perspective where things get smaller as they go away. Well, it kind of is, but it isn't. It's called aerial perspective. Just have some of my teeth. And the reason being, as things get further away, in things like landscapes, it's actually to do with our eye and what we can see. So things that are in our foreground, which is this front section, are going to have more detail. They're going to have more contrast of tones. There'll be more darks and lights in them, and more details. As things get further away, if you stand at the top of a hill and look, you'll see that things change. So this section here, you can't see the detail as much as you can here, and even further away. And actually, if we were doing it in color, as things go further away, they take on like a blue tinge or a purpley tinge, and also lighter, and that gives us that kind of graduated effect. And we're kind of in a way interpreting now with the cameras that we have, we can get amazing details now that we could never before. But if you imagine the old-fashioned painters that were, didn't have cameras, they would just be capturing what they could see. So this is really dark in here. And shadow. Let me come up there. Now we're going to go up gradually. So this was all dark. Now, when we get to, see this section here, we are coming off here. This way. And with trees, if you've guessed that's what it is, I always grow them. So if I was showing you in watercolor as well, we would grow the trees with our brush where they come out. So they are wider and thicker as they join on to the tree. And then they often will split with each season. So these ones are quite thick and dark, and then we get thinner and thinner. We're just going to get the main ones in first. So we have two. This one, actually, we're going to come down. So this is going to split here, and it's going to come down here, like that. And we're going to come up a little bit more. And then we have one that goes this way, down like that. And then there's another one that comes this way, up. And kind of, you know, when they twist, like that. Now this one then comes down, then he shoots off at another angle, then he goes down again, the next year's growth, then up, then down, and then he tails off to a final line. Okay, trunk is going to keep going up. This one, it's always easier if you're drawing trees to get the bigger branches in first. They're the simpler to see. And it's a case of just focusing on one at a time. If you focus on them all, it gets very confusing. So this one goes to there. Now, this one splits up here. And then he goes that way, and then that way. Like that. And then this one comes up actually a bit earlier over this one. And then kind of angles out like that. Now, let's go back to the bottom of here. This is coming up. Then we have another one about the same height as this one. That comes up. Now, this one forks earlier. So this one goes up here. And then the end goes like that. And then that has another one that comes off there. And over here. Best way to draw trees is actually to just go out into nature and just sketch them, and you see how they look. That's the one thing I always like, and my students always say about how it changes the way that you see the world when you've drawn. When you draw, you kind of look at things differently. Right, so I've just added on that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's narrower up here. And this one's going to split. And these are going to have little kind of split bits. And then the tree actually, maybe the weight, goes over kind of this way. Like that. I've smudged on my picture. Now, let's get to the top. So this is where it gets tricky. So from this one, we are going to do some little shading. Now this sometimes I will do little circular motions. It's easier with a softer pencil than what we're describing simply is kind of clumps of leaves. And these will have a darker shape. And then we will have a light shape with a light hits on top. And then here we'll have a dark shape. And then some lighter. Then we go up, there's a dark little branch, and we have some darker little circles, and some lighter ones on the top. Okay, we're kind of clumping together. Now, over here, it's quite confusing because we can't see all of the branches because they're behind dark leaves. So we're actually going to shade all of this dark. So don't think you have to do this slowly. It will probably look better if you do it nice and scruffy. You'll get that effect. And it's the same if I was doing this in watercolor. I'd be looking at the big shapes first. I'm looking for the big clumps of leaves. Then I'm going to go in with lighter ones. Not a lot of lighter ones here. And then, this is where the little trick is. You can then add some of the single leaves around it. And that actually gives you the effect of a tree. Let's come back up here now with dark again. So the branch comes like this. The little ones there. Darker little circles. Little ones at the edge. So we're creating an effect, basically, that will give us a tree-like look. Little ones there. Dark, dark, dark. So all I'm interested in when I'm sketching this is not what it is, just mainly what shade it is. Is it dark? Is it light? Okay. Well, that looks pretty. Right. Where have we got to? So I'm hoping you're keeping up. You're going to carry some of this to the tree trunk. So that's the other thing. When we were kids, we did leaves that were all the way around the branch. Funny enough, leaves come over the branches. We lose those kind of some little bits hanging down here. Like that. Now let's go to this top. Now we're coming off there. We're coming up, zigzaggy up there. And we're coming up. Kind of like that. There are loads, but we'll simplify it a little bit because of time. We're running out already. Now we can have some dark shapes, little dark clumps. And then we're going to do some lighter. So because it's the top of the tree, it's kind of lighter little bits. Okay. Now let's finish this half off in case we run out of time completely. So roundy, swirly, round, swirly shapes. Down here. Leaving gaps for the birds to fly through. We don't have to fill it all in. But that looks quite nice now, that side. Now, over here, we're going to do some big shading. This is our darker shape, and it comes all the way over. So it's not as dark as these twiggy bits. It comes all the way over here, all the way over here. And we can do a little circular bit. And this is all quite dark over here. Under this, press a bit harder. And then again, we're going to do little bits. I'm not doing anything fancy with my brush, my pencil. I'm literally just doing little scruffy shapes, moving around. And then here we're going to do, if it's dark enough, we're going to use some lighter shapes, kind of at the edge. It's hard because it doesn't show up as much down here because it's similar tone. And then you could use a few kind of little shapes. Don't make them too symmetrical. Like that. Maybe we need, you see the way we did this circular? A little bit more circular, just trying to be quick. Time flies so quickly. Softer. Some little ones. We need a few branches coming out here. Zigzaggy. Up, across, so as they grow. And then some softer. Less leaves and more light up here. Again, I'm doing a little swirly, maybe a few darker leaves. Trying some of this. So a lot of this is kind of the light to darks because the light can't get in here. We could spend ages, a few darker bits. Like that. Just having a look. So basically, we've drawn the tree trunk and the branches. We've got simplified into dark leaves, which are clumps, yeah. Then we have lighter leaves, sections, and then on the edges, we then do our individual kind of little details. Now, we've run out of time, but let's just do something. So with this perspective of this field, there's kind of markings there. So we could do like scruffy grass, but we could just kind of hint that there's perspective. Actually, from, look at my hand, you could actually use your finger or the pencil that's on you just to put some pencil in there. You could, if you like a smoother look, also use your finger to smooth that kind of hill in the background. And let's just get a few kind of darker bits, because this is where you would see the detail. So this front would have like grasses and in different directions. And remember, not the grass we did when we were children. It grows and it loops and it. Actually, the viewpoint that we stood, there's actually some kind of lines here that we will leave them. Okay, so that's a very quick landscape. And there's loads more detail, but actually, you know, especially if you want to do painting eventually, to learn to simplify is the best thing that you can learn. So I hope you enjoyed that. That looks a bit weird. See all them the same? Can't stop. I do some more just to break that up so they're not kind of standing out as much. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I will stop drawing and speak to you soon. Bye. Right. Hi, everybody. Started again. Hi, hope you are okay. Puppy's woken up, Lois. Come to say hi. Hope you enjoyed that. Was that too fast? Was that okay? Is that what you meant by a landscape? Let me know. Yeah, Puppy. Was it a bit too fast? Sorry, Claire. It's really hard because by the time we start, it's about 25 minutes. I will try and slow it down a bit. And give you more time. It will be on the video, Claire, if you want to go and look. Fun but fast. Yeah, often with landscapes, it's quite good to be quick because you'll get expressive lines in it rather than too neat. What else my drawing was rubbish. Not very good at scrubbing stuff. Yeah, I know how that is. It's hard to loosen things. Thanks. Would it be possible to see what we're going to draw before we start? Normally in my classes, yes. I think that's, I can't see Irina. In this one, we do it different. It's called Drawing for Happiness, and I'll get kisses. It's about you not knowing what you're going to draw, so all you do is focus on drawing what I draw. So if I said we were going to draw a landscape, your brain would start interfering because it knows what a landscape looks like, if that makes sense. So normally, yes, but in these sessions, we do it differently. Also, if you wanted to share your pictures, there is a Facebook group called Draw for Happiness, CBC. Am I boring you? So it's Draw for Happiness -CBC on Facebook if you wanted to share your pictures. Would it be possible to do some still life sessions? Yes. I will have a little think about that. Some still life. Okay. So thank you very much. And I think I will see you in a few weeks. This one, thanks, it was fast but fun. This one wants her lunch now. You need to go and feed her. But I will see